Hi Erin, this is Patty Joyce, and I'm going to answer your questions on the video, and then we're going to send them to you in an email. I know this is easier for me just to talk the questions instead of trying to type them out, and I hope this is easier for you. The first question you said was, how did you get started working with wigs? I've worked with wigs my entire life. When I was a little bitty girl, everybody got their dolls and they would get all the clothes and dress with the clothes and so forth. Not me. I wanted the doll with the hair. I remember I had a little doll that I gave her permanents and I'd cut the hair. I didn't care about the clothes. I just wanted the hair. And if I had a doll with makeup, oh my gosh, it was like to end all. So that's where I started. And then how did I get going with wigs? It was really through my theater arts and through the drama classes. I'm a theater arts major. And I remember that I realized you can be talented, but when you get up into those kind of classes and into that kind of theater, everybody else is too. You'd be amazed the amount of talent that's out there. And it takes luck, it takes being in the right place at the right time, saying the right words, having the right look. But I knew that I could be in theater and have that kind of career, but probably wasn't going to fly across the stage like Peter Pan on Broadway. So I started doing the makeup and the hair and I had some fun and leads in Norman Lear and blah, 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 but really that's when I started working with wigs. I did everybody's hair in college. I remember my one sorority sister, I'll never forget it. I was a freshman. She was a senior. And I said, "Oh, I can perm your hair. There's no problem whatsoever." I gave her a perm in the house, and she had blisters all over her head, and she lost her hair. It's funny now. It was not funny then. We had to go to health services. It was really bad. The first haircut I did was on my brother and my sister. I was little, and I could talk them into anything. I used to talk my sister Lynn into you just never know. So I set her down and I cut her bangs, and they went whoop, just like that, at an angle, short on one side and really long on the other. Oh, it was horrible. She cried and cried and cried to Mother. I shaved my brother's head one time. He wouldn't go to school the next day. And then for the rest of about 2 weeks or so, he wore a cap to school. So I have had my misses, kind of. But you know what? It gives me such great joy. Isn't it wonderful that you can find your passion and find kind of where your gifts lie, and then hone those skills and learn what you can, do what you can, and have fun doing it, and all of a sudden, your passion becomes your business. I wish that for everybody that I knew, and I know it's not that often that happens. I know it's more rare than it's common, but what a great ministry I have, and what a great blessing I have that I can do my passion and help people and make a little bit of money on the side. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing for me. What is the process for finding and fitting someone with a wig? The process is I'm recommended by doctors and by nurses. When I first started, I guess I was in chemotherapy myself for colon cancer. I'm a colon cancer survivor, as you know. And I would go to the hospital and sew people's wigs or wash their wigs or cut them or do what I could just as a volunteer. And this one head nurse, her name was Ruth, saw me and she said to me, "You need to be doing something with this girl." And so she called another person who had a little boutique. Her name was Bink Cook. And she really gave me my start. She was my blessing friend. And so I went to work for her and with her. and I started selling wigs for her, and we still, even that long ago, we had the idea that we would supply wigs to women who didn't have the wherewithal to have them. And I still carry that through on my own business. I joke now that I have my own salon because nobody else will hire me, and I really think that's kind of true. But anyway, the doctors, the nurses, cancer support groups, other women, women network so well. And I don't advertise. And the reason I don't advertise is because I knew that when I was healed and my colon cancer was in remission, and I knew then that this is what I was going to do. And I knew, I had that epiphany. I knew I wasn't going to die. I didn't care what the doctors said. I didn't care what everybody else said. I knew in my heart I wasn't going to die. And I knew that there was something for me to do, and it was going to be in the wigs and the makeup and so forth. And you know what? I guess I'm this old Southern broad that has a lot of gumption, because that part has come true. And I didn't die, thank you, God. And sometimes I used to tease all the time, people would come in the salon and I'd say, honey, I don't care what you are. You man, woman, child, Buddha, Hindu, Christian, Catholic, Jewish, you name it. I don't care. Just pray for me. And I survived. And so here I am today. So the women come to me, they call, they'll find me on my website. I now have a website up. It's been up for about 1.5 years. Exactly 1.5 years this June. And that's going well. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But when you're fitting the wig and how they find me from their doctors, from their chemo nurses, from their friends. A lot of times their friends will bring them. And I have the shop in my home. It's the whole first floor, and I have over 200 and something wigs here. But the most important thing is it's private. If you want to sit here and cry, I'll sit in the ashes and cry with you and give you encouragement. If you want to laugh, if you want to bring your whole family and have them say thumbs up or thumbs down on the choice of the wig, that's fine too. But it's private, and it's a lovely place right off the freeway. It's easy to get to. So they come in and we'll talk, and I'll give them little tips and hints, and then I'll listen. Sometimes they just need somebody to talk to that isn't family. Sometimes women on that first time, they'll come alone because they don't want to cry in front of their family. They want to be strong, etc., etc. There are all different types and reasons for coming alone, bringing a crew, bringing your family, bringing your best friend. And we just try to accommodate all of that. We just keep adding chairs, and people keep coming. So anyway, after she's here and we talk about her hair loss and when she might expect to lose her hair and all of that clinical stuff, I'm certainly not a doctor, but I've sure walked this cancer for a long time. And it's almost like you name it, and I've been there. So I tell them I'm not a doctor, but I'll tell you what's happened to me, and I'll tell you what's happened to other ladies. And through all of that together, we gain strength and we gain courage. Cancer, like many other diseases, is a fight, and you're in a fight for your life. You didn't ask for this fight, love. It just happened. But every woman that walks through this door is in the same position. Unfortunately, it's a sisterhood that we help one another and we cling to one another as we walk this walk. So after they try on different wigs, we'll try blonde, we'll try red, brunette, gray, whatever. Usually, I've been doing this so long, that I can look at the lady and know what color she needs and know what color her own hair is, what wigs I think will help her. And then I kind of just let her lead the way. Everybody that walks in my shop, in my salon here, usually doesn't want to be here. You know, I really don't want to wear this wig, but I'm in that position where I need one. So the first thing is, you know, we acknowledge that this is caca and we're going to make the best of it. So we try on different wigs and we find the color she likes, then we find the style she likes. Then I start my customizing. I start my measuring. And that's the secret. My wigs are thinner. They're not real thick. This is a wig I have on, of course. I'm bald still. And I'll cut them a hairline. I'll sew the wig all over so that it fits her head. And they're all different kinds of shapes of heads and so forth. I feel with my hands on her head, the lumps and bumps are smooth or whatever. I measure with a tape measure and take about 4 or 5, 6 or 7 measurements, write them all down. Now I know how I'm going to hand sew her wig to make it bigger or smaller and get it to customize to fit her. Then when she comes back, if she's ready and her hair is falling out, I kind of turn her away from the mirror and we take her hair off very quickly, and then I put the wig on her, and when I turn her around again to see the mirror, she's got her wig on. And that's about the easiest way. When we talk about the shaving of the head, you were asking me what stories do I remember the most, and then I'll talk about Rady's. The most remarkable story that I remember about shaving a girl's head, 2 stories. One story, the woman had her wig picked out. I had her measurements. I had it ready for her. Her hair was falling out. So she comes to the salon. Of course, we're private. And she has her appointment time. And she had her 3 sons and her wonderful husband. And so they sat down and I turned her around, faced the family, and started cutting her hair off. And then each boy and the husband took pictures, and then each child took the clippers and got to cut a little of his mother's hair off. And it was a wonderful family bonding time, and nobody cried, they laughed and they giggled, and they were going to make the best of it. The other story that I remember about shaving that touched me so much I could barely talk after it was over. She is stage 4 cancer lady, beautiful woman. She's been in entertainment business, piano playing, singing, all of her life. Beautiful red hair, you know, that fair skin, natural red hair. And her husband was a businessman. And they came and I matched her hair color perfectly and had her wig ready for her, and it was time to take her hair off. So she came in and she turned around and looked at her husband, and they held hands, and I cut off her hair and put her wig on. And then they changed positions, and her husband had his hair cut off. And they wanted to do it together. And they held hands the whole time. It was so moving and so beautiful. And after it was over, she got up in her beautiful red wig, and he got up and put a brown felt hat on. And he helped her down the steps out the front door, and they went on their way, and they were loving and kind and sweet, gentle to each other. And she had chemo the next day at 9 a.m. You know, life creeps back.